All right, among the breaking news, the police reform bill is on the Senate floor today, a procedural vote put forth by South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, the only Republican African-American in the Senate. Democrats lining up against it, as you can imagine, saying it's inadequate. But the bill requires 60 votes to pass, and Democrats promise they won't give Republicans the vote that they would need. They would need 7 Democrats across party lines. Joining us now to discuss this is Vince Ellison. He's a member of Project 21, the National Leadership Network of Black Conservatives. Panel still here. Wendy Patrick, Curtis Ellis. Good to see you, Vince. Thanks so much for coming on the show here. What are your overall thoughts on this one here? The procedural vote in the Senate, as we know, this one is expected to fail.
Well, you know, I'm an advocate of law enforcement, but if policing made everybody safe, Detroit and L.A. and Chicago would be the safest places in the world, and they're not. But the police are not a security force, and they'll tell you they're not security guards. They'll tell you that. If these riots did anything else, they prove that every argument against the Second Amendment has been obliterated. The thing that keeps people safe is their right to keep and bear arms. The police department is really a apprehension and an investigative unit. 95% of the crimes are committed by the time they get there. The right for the people to defend themselves is an unalienable right given them by God. It is irrevocable, non-transferable. It can be violated, it can be infringed upon and abridged, but it cannot be taken away. And many of these liberal mayors have tried to do just that. And because of that, you have all of this violence and all of this chaos. So they bring in the police, and the police are not clairvoyant. They can't see into the future, and they don't know where the crimes are going to be committed. So, of course, violence and crimes are taking place in these areas. And the people don't have the right to defend themselves because these liberal mayors have taken the right away from them, or they've tried to.
Well, Vince, you know how divisive politics can be. We're in an election year. Another divisive statement was made. Nancy Pelosi saying the Republicans are trying to get away with murder. She says the actual murder of George Floyd. Your comments on that?
Well, George Floyd was a visual. We visually saw what the Democratic Party has been doing, well, what the liberals have been doing to the black community for the past, 200 years. They've been controlling the black community since the 1800s. They still control it right now. These liberals control every drug den, every housing project, every failed school. So when Nancy Pelosi talks about committing murder to the black community, she should look at Planned Parenthood, something that they control. They should look at these inner cities that can have all the murders. This is something that they control. The Democrat Party controls every aspect of the black community, especially the inner city black community, and these liberals control that.
Curtis Ellis, weigh in on that for me.
Those comments by Nancy Pelosi were just disgusting. There really is no other word for it. Disgusting. To accuse the Republicans of murdering George Floyd. See, this is the type of behavior we don't need in politics. And look at this. The Democrats now don't even want to debate the bill. We have a bill that the Republicans have put forward for police reform to incentivize better practices by the police. Rather than debating it and offering amendments, no, they're just blocking it, obstructing it. This is the same old, same old. See, the Democrats have, unfortunately, really dispensed with the American system of governance. They're doing obstruction. And they talk about abolishing police. They talk about mail-in balloting, which will destroy elections, one after another. And now Nancy Pelosi accusing the Republicans of murder when her own party will not allow debate in the world's greatest deliberative body. I mean, this is just outrageous. They don't like the the Republican senators' bill because it does not offer qualified immunity, right? The Democrats want people to be able to sue policemen if they don't like, if they feel they were mishandled by the police. Well, but at the same time, the Democrats don't want us to be able to sue Nancy Pelosi or sue a mayor of a sanctuary city when we get shot by an illegal alien, right? I mean, so qualified immunity for some, but not for others.
Yeah. Wendy, I'm going to carry that point over for you from what Curtis was saying there. If you want changes, make an amendment. Why just block the thing altogether?
Yeah, no, that's right. And it's such a productive discussion that we need to have. I mean, when we had this whole defund police movement, what they were really saying is refund police movement, police agencies. In other words, try to look at the allocation of resources and see if that's the smartest use of the money. Where's the money coming from? Where is it going? How is it being spent? Are we having police officers do the job of mental health professionals, of other kind of professionals? Should they be doing the kinds of things they're doing? So it's one of those things that we can come to a lot of common ground if we actually debated it instead of just debunking it. And I do note that Nancy Pelosi's comments were unhelpful, to be gracious, but also obstructionist in terms of why don't we talk about some of these things? We may find out that there's more common ground. In fact, when it comes to the defund, refund, whatever you want to call it, how do we rethink the job of police given some of what we've seen in the last couple of weeks? That would be productive debate.
Vince, last question for you. It's been said that folks from the black community cannot be conservatives. This is a taboo topic. Can you respond to that and enlighten us all on that matter, sir?
Well, black people are conservative by nature, but what has happened is that the liberals have gotten in and they've told them that they cannot trust other conservatives, so they vote liberal. Now, we have to start showing up and start talking to these people again and letting them know how our policies will assist them. Number one, every American has a right to defend themselves. They talk them into elected officials that are taking their guns and their right to defend themselves away. They say they're being hunted by these people. They say they're being hunted by the police. They say they're being hunted by the gangs. And what are these liberals doing? They're saying, well, give us your guns so that the people that are hunting you can really kill you. Why don't you just be expeditious and blow your own brains out? We have a right to defend ourselves. For years, liberals have decided that whenever a group of black people have come together, that the first thing they must do is disarm them and take away their right to defend themselves. This is why you have the chaos. This is why you have the murder and the crime. People have an unalienable right. It is irrevocable. It is non-transferable. It is unsellable. It is yours to defend yourself, and you should not depend on the police or the government to do it. And when you do depend on them, it does not work. It has never worked. It doesn't work in Detroit. It doesn't work in Chicago. It doesn't work in Memphis. It doesn't work in China. It doesn't work anywhere. It is your right. It is your responsibility. Take it back and tell these liberals that if you're going to take my right to defend myself, you're out.
Well said. I'll leave it right there. That is Vince Ellison live for us from Project 21. Appreciate your time.